Smoking Gun takes a playful approach to exploring the power of data in a post-truth world. It's a thriller which unfolds via your phone, placing you at the heart of a potential whistleblower scandal. Over 5 days, players solve puzzles, scrutinise documents, and wrangle datasets to uncover what is really going on at the heart of government. But as their investigations take them deeper, nothing seems as clear-cut as the whistleblower is making out. So maybe it's time for them to go back to the data. fanSHEN is a recovering theatre company, by which I mean we used to be a theatre company, but what we make now probably isn't theatre by most people's definition. Working on this project is Dan, who is a director, Joe, who is a computational artist, and me, Rachel. I am a writer and a producer. Working together, we create transformative experiences which mix powerful narrative with the dynamic potential of data. We are fascinated by human psychology and technology in a rapidly changing world.
Data Stories is a project funded by the Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council that's looking at how we can engage the public with data in the so-called post-truth society. Data is becoming more and more widespread, and it's having more and more an influence on our daily lives. More than 90% of all the world's data was generated in the last 2 years. The Data Stories project is looking at a number of different topics, from how people find data and how they seek it out, and how this differs from the searches that they do in their daily lives on the web, and how we can help integrate data as part of that. We're also looking at how data can spread like a virus through social media, and the ways in which people decide to share or publicize data that they own or data about them. And lastly, we're really interested in looking at how we can engage with data through new and interesting ways, whether that's through novel kinds of visualization, through games, or through artistic experiences like the one created by fanSHEN. And that's particularly why we're very excited to be working with both fanSHEN and the VERTIGO STARTS project.
So what are we interested in or trying to explore with the project? The top line aim of the project is to see how people engage with data differently if it's made meaningful to them through narrative or game mechanisms. Which are the different data clues in the piece do people consider most important? Which do they notice easily? Which do they miss? And how do different ways of presenting data influence how people engage with it?
To find out all this, we needed a narrative where the players would be intrigued, where they'd be prepared to work a bit to find out what was happening. So the first part of the residency has been finding this.
Although it was a residency about data and technology, we decided to start by taking a lo-fi approach. In a series of workshops working with Tom, we identified all the different kinds of data that we could use as part of the story, that we could invite audiences to engage with. And we also thought about how they might engage, the things we'd be asking people to do with data.
I think one of the interesting questions we had at this point was about how machines process data and how humans process data, and how at some point in the experience we could maybe invite them to swap and look at things from the other entity's perspective.
We were also approaching the experience from an interaction design perspective, thinking about exciting things that could happen, twists and turns, and dynamics that a player would enjoy. Really early on, we knew we wanted Smoking Gun to be fun to play. That was really important if we were going to make something that, appeals to a really diverse range of people, not those who would typically see digital art or data art.
So from one perspective, we were identifying all the possible forms of data and different behaviours that we wanted to incubate.
But we were also trying to knit that into a narrative which felt urgent, plausible and relevant.
We weren't really happy with the storyline that was initially proposed. It felt kind of obvious.
So we started to work with Tom around the possibility of using synthetic data sets, which would allow us to think more about all of the other things we need to be thinking about when we're thinking about data. So privacy, convenience, surveillance, power, and money. I think I'd had this kind of misconception that data was somehow neutral, and the process has helped me realise that really it isn't, and that's much more at the heart of the story now.
Alongside all of this thematic exploration, Joe has been building the actual structure that the piece takes place in. At the whistleblower's request, players download Seeker, a new encrypted messaging app. The whistleblower uses this to send players documents every morning, and then every evening there's a secure group chat that cells of 6 players use to discuss what they've noticed, and ultimately whether to go public with their discoveries.
Through the custom-built chat app, we'll also be able to track how long people look at different documents for and how often they return to them, how people talk about the data evidence that they have found in their player group chats, when people engage with the game, for how long, and how this pans out over the 5 days. So as well as being a gripping thriller, all the information collected on how people engage with data can be used by Tom and his team for research.
Some of the things we hope to learn through the Smoking Gun project are the ways in which people use data to solve problems and how in-depth they will engage with that data. But we're also very interested in looking at how groups of people will share and communicate data to help each other solve other problems.
In the second half of the residency, we will test and iterate the artwork, starting with a small group playing on a beta version of the app and progressing all the way to this premiere in Southampton, which the audience will play remotely over 5 days before attending an event or party where we take them behind the scenes and find out about their experiences.
So in a kind of ironic reflection of our starting point of data in a post-truth society, we've ended up creating loads of false information online. So fake company websites, forged company accounts, fake news stories, medical studies results of studies that never existed.
We've had lots of moments in the process where we thought, oh, hang on, isn't this a little bit far-fetched? And then we've Googled it and found that it's already happening somewhere in the world. So we hope that Smoking Gun will be a fun, but also terrifyingly relevant piece of work.